So I've got it set to ramp up. And then obviously back here at the motor, looking at the back of the motor, obviously you can't see the shaft turning, but definitely it is. You can see, you can hear that whine. I've actually gone in and actually, it's a little better than it was. It's actually tolerable now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and you can see there on the controller, there's my wiring. Rotary disconnect, white wires T1, 2, and 3, black wires L1 and 2, and then here is the frequency. I'm running at 60 right now. I'm going to speed it up to 70, and then I'll bring it back down to 30 and then to 15. So there you can see I'm overdriving it, so I'm actually going above the speed of the factory motor, and that'll allow you to actually, once you get your tachometer set up, which I got to figure out what I'm doing on this machine, you can actually adjust your speed a little bit. You don't really want to go beyond much what the south bend's rated at, but what that'll allow you to do is dial in your speed more to whatever material you're working to kind of adjust your finish a little bit. So now I'm going to go to half speed, which is going to be 30. So that's half speed, so that should be half of 1730 there. And obviously right now I'm running everything inside the FM50 by itself, but I've got remote controls and everything. I've covered that in my blog as well on Practical Machinist, that covers what I'm going to do when I mount that. So I'm actually going to mount that on the machine. It's going to have a remote potentiometer to control the speed. And then I'll have forward and reverse and obviously stop. And I've got an emergency stop as well that's going to be electronic. It's going to be part of the FM50, so it's not going to be a power disconnect. I'll use the rotary disconnect switch for that. And so now I'm going down to 15. See, now you can hear the motor slowing down. It's starting to vibrate a little bit. It's really nothing though, but basically the way it's set up, it allows the, it's a really nice setup as far as the motor goes. It's got a little bit of vibration in it, but it doesn't have anything. It does not causing it to move at all. Nothing's moving around. So testing this outside of the machine just to see, make sure that all my wiring is right. I'm going to tape all these wires up, as you can see here. I've got the different wiring terminals based on what I've configured, running it, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take all this now and get it all set up and put back in the motor. I got to tape it up and seal it up. Now I'm going to jack it back up to 60 and then turn it off. And there you can hear the motor freewheeling. Got it turned off, but it's freewheeling down to stop, and I'll eventually cut that. I'll fix that so that it actually stops like it's supposed to, and that'll allow a faster stop on the chuck as well. So, but as you can see, pretty straight up as far as what the connections were. I thought it was going to be a lot more complicated than it was. I spent more time setting my control box up with the rotary disconnect switch and everything. I've got a power switch to hook up that I'm going to run off of that same power feed as well, the L1 and L2, and so that I have a light on the front of the control panel. I've had this lathe for several months, and it's been sitting here. I've actually had purchased even another machine and ran it a while, sold it, and now I'm setting this one up finally in its final home. So hope to get everything configured up finally here. And so I've got some more gluing up to do, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just hook up the control front panel wiring and do the wiring so that it still has to be run from within the unit itself. I'm not going to hook the remotes up right now. I'll just run it with the front panel VFD buttons right now, but I will come back and add those in the next few days.